Good evening, guys, and welcome to the first episode of Endless Banter podcast live with myself, Big Tom, and the boss man himself, Mr. Paul Harrison. So we're going to do a little bit of an episode on YouTube every now and again, probably once a week to probably every 2 weeks. Basically, it's going to be just me and Paul kicking the shit and just having a bit of banter, getting some guests on every now and again. But we're just going to kick the shit tonight. We have got show notes. Don't worry, guys. We have got show notes to go off. So we just want to see who's in the chat at the moment. All right, Kev, Sam, John. There's a few of you in here. If you do want to share it onto Facebook and get more people in, we would appreciate that. And the camera is stuck on Paul. No, it's not. Now it's floating on me. So good evening, Paul. How are you?
Good evening, Mr. Wood. Not too bad yourself?
I'm good, thank you. So we currently got 16 viewers in the house, and it's not stuck on me, it's stuck on us both. So do you want to tell everybody what you're vaping on at the minute then? Should we go through what we're vaping as we usually do on shows?
I'm vaping on some lime fizz from our new Fizzy as Fuck range.
I knew you was gonna say something I haven't fucking got. So we can do it straight away.
What's that?
I knew he was going to show me something I haven't got yet. I knew he was going to do that.
And I've got my Empress, my Emmy, sorry, which is running the same single coil. So you can't. My lighting in here is shocking, but that's even worse. Let me see. I've got. So that's a 5 wrap, 5 core parallel fuse Clapton, single coil. It's coming in at 0.16, and it's quite lively for a single core, to be fair. And I've got the trusty AO Pro with some 12 milligram shady vaping menthol in there.
Nice. Riyadh said, "When's the 22 mils getting here?" Did we stay at the end of Feb?
22 mils. I'm hoping and praying that we get them into the UK, or certainly shipped from China prior to Chinese shutdown, which I believe is about the 12th of February. She's saying she could operate to as late as the 15th of February for us if she needs to. So if we can get them shipped prior to the Chinese New Year, we will launch them at the end of February. So any shops that are wanting them, hook up Mr. Thomas Wood for a wholesale order, and we will do a standard launch date. So Shady Vaping will not sell the product before anyone else. We'll all sell it on the same day.
Yeah, that's what we were discussing before. Obviously, I said that to you before about we're trying to get it to as many people as possible, because obviously we want our wholesalers to have the same product as us at the same time as launch, rather than us going, we're going to launch it, we'll keep it for 2 weeks, a month, and then we'll get to you guys. We all want to sort of keep on the same wavelength, really. Yeah,
definitely.
Which should be fun. So you've got your answer there about the 22 when that's coming in. So if you guys want to get hold of that, you know where I am. So Paul, what we're going to do, we're going to go through the show notes, and we're going to do a little bit of backstories first of all. People probably know my backstory a little bit, not massively, but I want to sort of get into your backstory first of all. Not literally into your backstory, like, but
third person to
So basically, what I want you to be able to tell everybody is sort of when did your vaping journey start? Not necessarily as a vendor, but as just somebody who saw vaping, how you saw vaping. Sort of, was it the same limelight you looked at it like people look at it today, sort of vaping as how it is? Has it changed? I just want everybody to find out your sort of backstory on where you are now and where you've come from.
Right, my backstory is back in, how old's Alva? About 6, so 2000, she's 7 in April. So 2012, so 6 years ago, coming up for 7 years ago, I decided that 60 fags a day was no good for me. In fact, I tell a lie. Prior to ever starting vaping, I was probably smoking regularly 40 cigarettes a day, sometimes getting on towards 50. Now, bearing in mind, I could smoke at work, I could smoke in my office, I smoked in my car, I smoked in the house, I smoked in the kitchen, I smoked in the bedroom. So some days 40 fags, some days 50 fags, some weekend days 60 fags. And needless to say, regularly I had a bad chest. And I remember I tried numerous times to give up cigarettes on cold turkey. I tried hypnosis, I tried Champex, I tried all the normal routes of coming off cigarettes. And actually, I'd never seen anything at all. Like, we were chatting the other night on your live feed about cartomizers and stuff like that. I'd actually never seen vaping as a thing. I didn't even know the term vaping, to be completely honest. I knew about electronic cigarettes.
Yeah.
And the only place I'd ever seen them was at the Maryhill Shopping Centre in Dudley. They had a stand, Cigarlight, I think it probably was, had a stand in them, like a booth. I'd never tried one. I'd never vaped, like used one, vaped on one. I didn't know what there was. Didn't have a clue what there was. And on the Friday, I said to Tash, tomorrow, we had to go to Costco for something. I said, we'll go to Costco, and then in the afternoon, I want to go over to Maryhill. I'm going to buy one of these electric cigarettes and see if I can get off the face. And actually, we walked into Costco, and they just launched the Vape Stick, which is another UK company. So the Vape Stick was, in fact, when I first started using a Vape Stick, they only sold Cigarlight style.
Looked like a cig, sort of had a white, and then like a LED on the front.
Pull off the cap on the end, which was the tip of a cigarette. You threw that off, you stuck a new one on. It had a little cartomizer, a little atomizer underneath that. And I can't remember what I paid for it, about 35 quid from Costco. And when I looked on Vape Stick's website, they were about 55 quid. That's just for one sample of tobacco, menthol. Was it just two flavors? I think they only done tobacco and menthol pods, and I actually preferred the menthol one straight away. But I had this paranoia about not smoking something that tasted like a cigarette.
Yeah.
So I was using 24 milligram tips of their tobacco, and to be completely honest, it was shite. It was like, shite on the basis that when I literally got home from Costco, I had a half-open box of cigarettes. I opened this kit up. Battery was already charged. I put a pod on. Had a pull on it, and I was blown away by the fact that this thing exhaled what to me was smoke.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it. I didn't know what I was doing. I'd done no research on it. I didn't have a fucking clue. But I just remember being, no way, as if it's like smoking a cigarette. And I used that, and literally from that day, at that time, I never had another smoke of a cigarette for 11 months. So during that 11-month period, I started to find that this thing just weren't giving me enough of a hit as what I needed, and I was going through 4, sometimes 5 tips a day, so I was getting a nice fresh vape constantly. And then they brought out the Max Vape, which actually, when I think about it, it was a 650 Ego battery with a 510 fitting, which took one of their tips basically.
Yeah.
And that obviously, because the power of the battery was better, it obviously converted at the atomizer better, so that gave me a better drag. And it also had a fire button as opposed to automatic drag, so I could sort of double drag it and get a better drag out of it.
Yeah, because with them, I'll be honest, with them sort of e-cigarette style ones, that was all that was available at the time. Really, that's all you could get hold of.
I'd never seen it. In fact, at the time when I started on that, a friend of mine was using a totally wicked Ego setup. I didn't have a clue what it was, and I remember he started off on a Cigarlight and he was mixing his own liquid back then, sort of 7 years ago. And he used to wait for the cotton to dry out on the tip, and then he'd put his own liquid in it and stuff. And I was a bit like, that's too messy for me. I want something like a cigarette that's easy and convenient to use, and I haven't got a piss about it, and I can just throw the tip in the bin, and I can put a new tip on, and I can just smoke that like I would smoke a cigarette. And then sort of about 10 months into that journey, in fact, it was just before 11 months sort of time, I got to work one day and my vape stick fucked up, it didn't work. And the first thing I'd done after about half an hour of trying to hold out was said to someone, "I'll give us a fag." And I had a cigarette, and I'm not even going to lie, I enjoyed every drag of that cigarette. And I smoked about 4 or 5 fags that day at work. But I'd phoned Tasha at home and said, my vape stick's knackered, shoot to Costco, pick me up another one. I got in from work, she put it on charge, it all worked, set it all up, cracked on again with the vape. So then probably a week or so after that, on the weekend, I was a bit like, "I'll give us a fag." So I had a cigarette, and then I'd carry on with my vape, and a few weeks after that, I'd have a few fags, and then actually within 6 weeks of having the first fag, I was on 60 fags a day, and I couldn't get on with the vape at all. So I bought another brand new kit. I was buying new atomizers, I was buying new tips, and to try and sort of crack it, and it just wasn't working for me. So it took me nearly 12 months again then to start all over again and actually give it a shot, which is when I stopped smoking and started the whole shady vaping thing, really. So at that point, I was at work, and another pal of mine came into the factory, and he had an 1100 Totally Wicked battery. He had a C4 Plus with the changeable coils from Totally Wicked. And
I actually, about 70 quid at the time.
It was more than that. I think it was an 1100 battery, C4 Plus, a packet of 3 changeable coil heads for the C4, 3 bottles of ice menthol, 18 milligram that was at the time. Cost me about, well, he never cost me nothing. He ended up giving it to me, but it was about 90 quid. Okay, and what I said, I had a drag on his, and I was like, you know what? That's so much better than the vape stick. Because the vape stick wasn't. It just got to the point where it wasn't doing it for me at all. But I didn't know what I needed to buy, so I just said to him, "Do me a favour, go and buy me what I need, and I'll give you the money." And then once I understand it, I can obviously go online and I can order whatever bits and pieces I need myself. And he was actually quoting on some work in the factory, and he gave me this kit as a bit of a sweetener, I think, for the work that he was quoting on. Is the truth of it. And needless to say, I'll give him the contract, and he gave me the e-cigarette, and then that was it, really. I remember coming home from work that day and saying to Tash, "Try this, it's just so much better than what the vape sticks were." And literally, that was the start. Within a week of that, I was like, we need to source some product and sell it. I know that I can get other people to stop smoking. So exactly what we done. Then what I found was really within 3 or 4 weeks of using that C4, I'd adjusted again, and it still wasn't working for me as well as what it was 4 weeks previously. Excuse me, everyone, because I am dying with man flu. During that 4 weeks after having that first Totally Wicked kit, 2 things happened. One thing was, on the night that I got that kit home, I went on to Totally Wicked's website to try and buy some spares. So to buy a spare battery, to buy a spare C4, to buy some spare coils, to buy some liquids. Because I always worked on the principle that when I was spending 20 odd quid a day on 60 fags, if I had to spend £100 on the kit and another £100 on spares, I still only needed to use this thing for 10 days to break even.
Yeah.
But I knew that if it broke or it didn't work or the coil was knackered or whatever, the first thing I'm going to do is go and blow another $7.50 on a packet of cigarettes. And I went on to Totally Wicked's website that night. And bearing in mind, I'm holding this gear in my hands. I've got the stuff right there. And I could not get my fucking head around the shit website that they had. That's the absolute truth of it. I could not work it out. I didn't know what battery I had, although I'd got Ego 1100T or something. I think they used to call them a Tornado or something, their battery.
Tornado.
So, and I just couldn't find it on the website. Then when I did find it, it was on about Ego fitting it. And I was like, I don't even know if that's going to fit the stuff that I've got or whatever. Customer services was open till 9 o'clock, which I thought was quite good. So I phoned them up, and I got some woman from up north saying, I don't know, love, you're going to have to check on website. I said, I'm on your fucking website. I can't find it. I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to be looking for. And I phoned the geezer that had bought me the kit the next day and said, do me a favour, get me a spare battery, get me a couple of C4s, get me some more ice menthol, get me a packet of coils, and then tell me where he was going to Chapel Ash, I think it is, which is it's still open now. It's still a vape shop that's open there now. And it was like a little Totally Wicked franchise. And then when I went online and looked, actually, there was a Totally Wicked franchise into central Birmingham at an MOT garage, because Totally Wicked would literally put a franchise anywhere. If you had a front porch bigger than 3 foot square, Totally Wicked would have put a fucking franchise in the cunt for you. So my localist one was in Birmingham city centre at a MOT testing station in their reception. Now, bear in mind that they had the products, so they had C4s, they had replaceable coils, they had, well, the C4 Plus it was called, which is the one that had changeable coils.
Yeah, you could change
they had the changeable coils. They had 2 different ohms, but I didn't know for the life of me what that meant or what he'd done. So I just went with the 1.8 ohm, which is what he'd given me. I think they'd done a 2.2 or something, or it was different to Kangatech. I'm sure they'd done a 2.2 and a 1.8 or something like that. But I didn't know the difference between these 2 ohms, what they would do, how they'd react differently. But needless to say, the wankers in the garage didn't know either. They knew how to MOT your fucking car. They could change your brake pads for you, but they couldn't tell you nothing about this product that they were selling. So that was my first experience within 48 hours of buying this stuff. And then the second thing was that this wasn't within a week or so. I just felt I wasn't getting the right hit off it. So obviously the first thing I done was change my coil and make sure it was all working okay. And it was just because your throat and your chest and everything could adjust to what you're using.
Yeah.
Within a few weeks of that, I'd managed to source 2 different suppliers for hardware on the proviso that we were going to start selling this gear. And my first purchase after that, bearing in mind, and it might even be upstairs unless it got through out the last time that we had a bit of a sort out, but I'd still got the original replacement Tornado T because I'd never used it. And I'd still got a brand new C4 Plus, and I'd still got some of the coils, and even some of the liquid, because I just went off the Totally Wicked stuff. But I actually bought an adjustable Ego battery that had the spinner.
The twist spinners, yeah.
It weren't even the first Vision spinner. It was just the Ego Twist, yeah. The Ego Twist 2 or something, which was a 1300 mAh battery. And it went up to 5.5 volts. And then I just used, I can't remember what I got straight. In fact, I had a T3S, the Kangatech T3S, which was a dual coil plastic version of what later became a Mini Pro Tank 2. It was that style of tank. And that was me for a long time. I had my T3S. I think the Mini Pro Tank 2 was about 22 quid. And once I felt like I'd sort of justified not smoking long enough, I remember buying the Mini Pro Tank 2, and I was still using the Mini Pro Tank 2 12 months later when we opened the shop, because actually I tried various other things and I didn't need anything more than the Mini Pro Tank 2, as long as I kept my airflow clean and as long as I changed my coils on a regular basis, it just worked for me. So, and that was the nuts and bolts of me starting off. Probably I went from Totally Wicked to an Ego Twister Mini Pro Tank probably in 6 weeks, and I now use that kit for over 12 months. And I think one of the things that sort of sticks out to me more now than what did then is I accepted the fact that some coils were fucked when you put them in. I accepted the fact that these things used to leak like a fucking old prostitute. I accepted the fact that you could put a brand new coil in and it might last 12 hours, and you put another one in and it might last 3 weeks. It was just part of vaping, and I used to change my coil on a Friday, and I used to genuinely change my coil every Friday on everything that I had. If I had 2 or 3 tanks, I'd change it on all of them, regardless of how much had been used. And I just worked on the proviso that if it was vaping correctly and it tasted right and it tasted fresh, there was less chance of me ever going back to the cigarettes. And every now and again, I'd put a coil in there, and from the very first drag of that vape, I knew the coil was fucking banging. It was wicked. And then I'd hate the fact that I'd have to change it, because sometimes I'd put one in there and I knew straight away it was fucked. And I knew, and I would never just take it out and throw it in the bin. I'd just suffer the consequence. And in the morning, I'd have to flick the shit out at the end of it because it had flooded. And then as long as I was vaping it non-stop all day, it was fine. If I put it down for 2 minutes to have a piss, I'd pick it back up again and it was flooded. And that was just part and parcel of what we were doing 7 years ago. Now I've got people who come in the shop saying, hello, I bought this vape 3 years ago and it's tasting a little bit burnt. Mate, fuck off. You know what I mean?
It's like I was telling you, though, like I was saying to you the other day, it's the struggles that we went through. A lot of people take it for not the because people don't understand the struggle we went through. So it's not like they're taking the piss or taking advantage of it. It's the fact is that we had fuck all. So we had to deal with what we had.
No, absolutely. I just accepted that this thing definitely stopped me from smoking. Did I miss smoking cigarettes? Yes, I did. Did I mind people smoking around me? No, I was never one of them. Oh, fucking move. I didn't mind the smell. And quite honestly, Tasha smoked for a long, long time while I was vaping. And one thing that was mad was whenever I'd given up in the past cold turkey, I'd walk in the house and it stunk of bags. Like properly stunk, and I'd be like, fuck's sake, it smells of stale cigarettes. And then when I stopped smoking and started vaping, I lost that sense of smell, believe it or not. Everything else was heightened. My sense of taste was heightened. My general sense of smell everywhere was heightened. But I could not smell stale cigarettes. I could not smell cigarette smoke. She could smoke a cigarette in the car next to me, and I'd never be like choking on it, or I wouldn't get in my car the next day and I couldn't smell this stale cigarette. It was really weird. Apart from once in a blue moon, it'd fucking stink. Like really bad, and I'd just maybe one day out of every 3 months or something. I don't know what was happening. I don't know. But I accepted that I prefer to do that over smoking cigarettes. I actually preferred the taste of it over cigarettes. The only thing that I never preferred from day one was it was not as convenient as picking up a box of cigarettes and smoking a fag. But me being me, I am an all or nothing sort of guy. So the fact is, I'd give up smoking. I was vaping, and because I'm an all or nothing guy, I couldn't just vape. We ended up opening a shop and manufacturing our own products because that's the type of all or nothing guy that I am. But I genuinely felt right from the get go that we could actually make a living out of doing it. And going back to the journey that I had right at the very start when I was on Vape Stick, around that time in my life, for those that know, I wrote some books, and for those that don't, I wrote some books. And that came out of nothing, came out of nowhere. And that whole journey consumed about 18 months of my life. So during that period, I'd started vaping. I'd said to Tasha straight away, you know what, if I can stop smoking on these, 95% of people can. I was a heavy smoker who enjoyed a cigarette. And because that sort of period of my life was just consumed non-stop, 7 days a week, I was on the computer doing my thing, writing the books and all that malarkey, I actually put the vaping as far as a business right on the back burner. But all the way through that, I was still going to Costco. I was buying vape stick kits. I was selling them to friends and family. My cousin, who was vaping right from that point, he carried on vaping even when I fell off the wagon for 11 months, and he now uses our shop, and he's now got fucking more mods than me. But actually, he started vaping because I started using a vape stick. We sold loads of vape stick kits just because I was using one, and I just became an advocate for this thing that I genuinely believe was better than smoking cigarettes. And even though the pods were expensive, the batteries didn't last very long. They bought out a cigarette box size charging unit, which I bought, and I had my batteries charged and I had my spare pods in there, and I was always ready to go. It was still so much more cheaper than smoking cigarettes that I was like a mad advocate for the industry before I was even involved in the industry, because every fucker that I bumped into with a cigarette, I'd be thrusting this vape stick on them saying, have a drag on it, mate. Now, probably, I bet 95 people out of 100 would take a drag on this vape stick and go, fucking hell, as if smoke comes out of it. Fuck me, it's like smoking a cigarette. Get us one, how much are they? the whole book thing consumed literally 18 months of my life. And as soon as that came under control, in that period of time, I'd stopped vaping, I'd started smoking again, then I'd started vaping again. And at that same time, the whole book thing had slowed down. And within weeks, we'd got shady vaping, and literally we hit the floor running. And I think I said it the other night to you that absolutely it's been a pleasure to have been involved in this right from that period of time, because we've seen the maddest growth in any industry for a long, long time, to get from the struggles of what you and I had, and I know you had even more struggles than me because you were vaping before me,
Yeah.
to actually becoming the easiest time for anyone ever to buy a piece of kit and stop smoking cigarettes. And I can remember writing on our Facebook page probably over 3 years ago saying it's never ever been easier to stop smoking, and I've probably written that 24 times since, because product has continuously improved, coils have continuously improved. The biggest improvement for me overall is probably a bit of a catch-22, because it also has fucked up the industry. But liquid back then was fucking shit. Like back then, mate, you know yourself, you couldn't put a bit of liquid on your finger and taste it. It tasted like cat piss.
Peppery as fuck.
It was fucking horrible. And one of the first people I ever seen tasting liquid on their finger, believe it or not, was Tasha. And as we started to get like more and more better liquids in the shop, and I'd see her going, and I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing that for? Because I'd only ever used 50-50. I weren't a Southern vapor. The menthol, to be fair, didn't taste that bad, but I can remember selling a candy floss liquid that tasted something like candy floss when you vaped it. Tastes like your nan's piss when you didn't. And I can genuinely remember a customer messaging me saying, I've bought this bottle of candy floss off you and it tastes fucking vile. And I was like, are you sure you've primed the core properly, mate? And he's like, I ain't even put it in my fucking e-cig, mate. I taste it out of the bottle. It's fucking disgusting. Like, what the fuck you doing tasting out of the bottle, you mad guy? Stick it in your tank and fucking vape it. And he messaged back saying, oh, yeah, I see what you mean, yeah. But it tasted disgusting. It tasted vile. So that's my journey in a nutshell. Obviously, along that way, I
want to break you off, because you haven't mentioned about you and Tash on an evening getting in car, getting gear, and driving fucking round and selling it in the car. That is a big part of the journey of getting off your ass and not sitting behind a desk or sitting behind a computer. You actually went out and you delivered gear.
Right, I'll start when nearly getting on for 10 years ago. Me and Tash got together, and prior to that, I was married. And when I got with Tash, we was on our arse broke. I was obviously paying child maintenance and paying whatever I had to pay there, and we struggled for 3 years. Don't get me wrong, I've always had a decent job. I don't know whether I was, in fact, I weren't. When I first left, I weren't a director. I was the production manager, something like that. And I earned an okay salary, and I had my company car and stuff like that. But what I'd agreed to give my ex-wife meant that monthly we struggled. Tasha was working part-time because she was still at university. And we struggled month on month on month for a long, long time. And then Tasha got a part-time job at a petrol station over a weekend. So I was out working all week. She was out working weekends, done my head in. And at a time where I was broke, mate, properly broke. And I'd read these books. And the only reason why we could even print a book was because we pre-ordered it on the website and people paid for a book that I hadn't even fucking written. So after that thing had sort of was gone and done, I done some galvanizing for a friend of mine that went through as a backdoor job, but my gaffer knew that I was doing it. So I weren't doing like an out-and-out foreigner. But a good friend of mine was doing an extension on a barn or something on his house, and I spoke to my gaffer and says to him, look, can I do this as a favour for Eddie? Because he always helps me out. And whenever we're in the shit, he's there. And he used to do work for us at the factory and whatever else. And the gaffer says to me, yeah, that's cool. Crack on. When I'd done that job for him, Eddie gave me a £500 drink. Now, bearing in mind that been on holiday once in that 3 or 4 years. And I used to have like a fucking gangster gold chain and shit from back in the day when I was a little fucking dickhead. And the price of gold had gone sky high, and I literally sold my old wedding ring and I sold my necklace just to take the kids and Tash on holiday. And that was like a caravan holiday. We went somewhere and whatever else. And I said to her, what we'll do is, as we get any money, we'll try and save up and we'll try and buy a caravan and have like a static caravan somewhere so we can just go away with the kids in half terms or whatever we need to do. And I got this 500 quid off Eddie, and obviously Tasha's going, fucking hell, man, we can buy a caravan for about 12 or 1500 quid. And I was like, yeah, sound. Genuinely hadn't thought about the vape. It weren't something that was sort of even then. And I started vaping again within a few weeks of that and whatever. And then I said to her one day, you know what, should we spend that 500 quid on electronic cigarettes and see how it goes? And she was like, no, I want my fucking caravan, you prick. She never. She says, you know what, just try it and see. But I was working on the assumption that if we lost it and he didn't do anything, it wasn't £500 that we'd had to invest ourselves. It was actually £500 that had been gifted to us in a situation where I was potless. So I was still making as much of a risk because I could have done so much with that 500 quid, even if it was only taking my kids to McDonald's or something like that, because I couldn't afford to do that at the time.
Yeah.
And when I was doing the book thing, some geezer came into my life sort of just out of the blue to say, I want to build a website for the 50 Shades of Birmingham thing. And I was like, yeah, sound. Me and Jay became sort of friends, and I messaged him and says to him, can you do me an online store for electronic cigarettes? And he was, in fact, I'm telling a lie. If the first electronic cigarette kits we ever listed was listed on the 50 Shades of Birmingham website, which we'd set up to sell the books. So I messaged Jay and said, look, I've bought these electronic cigarettes. Can you list them? I didn't even know how to use this website. I didn't have a fucking clue. And we went to a wholesalers in Birmingham that I didn't even know sold electronic cigarette stuff. It was just somewhere we used to go. And you can buy light bulbs for 27 pence, but you've got to buy a pack of 6,000 of them and shit like that. And I said to Tash, we'll go down there and see if they've got any stuff. And I'd found two other suppliers that I used for quite a long time afterwards, to be fair, probably even up until after we opened the shop. So good 12 months in. But I'd found these two other suppliers, went down the wholesalers. I think we bought 15 or 20 kits, which was a 650 battery, a CE4 disposable, and a charger and a UK plug. And I paid about, I don't know, paid maybe £20 from £18, £16 or something like that. And I went onto their website, which was another UK company, and they were $59.99. So I was thinking, fucking hell, they're even cheaper than Totally Wicked, but there's still a good margin for me to make on these. So if they're $59.99, if I sell them for $49.99, I'm £10 cheaper than them on their own website. And I'm going to make fucking 30 quid a kit or whatever it was. So yeah. I got home, we listed the kits, and I was sat down eating my dinner an hour later, and a pal of mine messaged me and says, Paul, your website's fuck, mate, I'm trying to buy one of these electronic cigarettes and I can't buy it. It's telling me it's not there. So I messaged Jay and says, Jay, can you have a look at the website for me? It's not working right. And he messaged me back and said, mate, you've sold all 15 of them. And I was like, fucking hell. So obviously that money went straight into our PayPal account. So I was like, the next day, we'll get back down there tomorrow and I'll spend whatever we've got and we'll buy more stuff. And literally, that's how we started. Now, when I first started doing this, Tasha was still working. So I think she used to work Thursday, Friday and Saturday, or Friday, Saturday and Sunday or something like that. So Monday to Friday, I was getting in from work. And then I was like, you know what, we'll start a Facebook page and we'll offer to deliver it as well around Birmingham, because I'd got this real passion for actually explaining how these things work, because I had such a shit experience when I started off myself. So I was happy to sell them online. But I still felt that by explaining to someone how it worked, how you filled it, what you should be doing, how it worked, just the basics of how this fucking thing worked would go a long, long way. And from day one up until today, mate, the business just went crazy, ridiculous. I was out delivering every single night on my own, Monday to Friday. Fridays, sometimes Tash would be out delivering as well. Saturday and Sunday, she was working at the garage. I'd be out delivering in the daytime on a Saturday because she started work at 5 o'clock or something till 9 or 10 o'clock or whatever it was. And I think probably only 2 weeks into doing that, within 2 weeks of that, some nights in the week, both of us were out delivering. At least every single day, one of us was out delivering. Weekends, she was like, I'm not even going to go in this weekend. We've got too much to deliver. And actually, she never ever went back to the garage. So the kids would get in from school. I used to post on our Facebook page throughout the day. Obviously, if we'd had a new, if you scroll, if anyone there's got the time and the inkling to scroll back to the very start of Shady Vaping on the actual Facebook page, not the group, you look at the first picture I ever posted of a C4, mate. It looks like I took it with a Lego camera. And I remember my brother messaged me saying, mate, if you're selling stuff, at least put a fucking decent picture up. You could see the reflection in the packaging of my phone because I didn't want to open the packaging because I couldn't afford just to waste one C4. Do you know what I mean? So I was trying to take this picture of this plastic packaging. It was reflecting the light back into my lens. But I would post up every day saying, we've got these kits. We'd managed to source some C4s. We'd source some batteries. I'd sourced some Kangatech bits and pieces, but predominantly I'd been sourcing batteries, C4s, lanyards, cases, ego chargers from one guy in Birmingham. And we were doing 2 1100 batteries, 2 C4s, a lanyard, a case, the ego charger, and 3 bottles of liquid for about 65 quid, which was a lot of money.
But it's a steal back then.
It was still less than half the price of Totally Wicked, and you got 2 batteries, 2 clearomisers, your case, your lanyard, your charger, and 3 liquids to go with. I could not get this stock in fast enough, mate. And look, Tasha would say, message me at 3 o'clock saying, oh, you've got 12 deliveries or 15 deliveries to do. And I'd put another post up on the page at 3 o'clock, and by the time I got in at 5:30, she'd say, fucking hell, there's another 15 coming. And I was like, well, you'd have to go out in your car then. So like we'd split the kids, or she'd have the kids, or I'd have the kids, or we'd just half the kids, or whatever. I've been out. I've knocked people's door at 11:45 of a night, mate, to say. Or look, obviously, then I'd be messaging them on the Facebook page saying I'm running behind because I might end up being customers for 45 minutes because they want to know the ins and outs of how it works, and I'd never ever just drop them the kit and fuck off. So I'd be messaging these people on the Facebook page saying I'm really sorry, I'm running late, and they're like, oh no, don't worry about it, I'm up anyway, not a problem. So I walked into my house one night, mate, at 12:10. So I'd done my last delivery about 11:30, which was about 45 minutes away from my house. I drive home 12:15. I used to put a post up every single night as soon as I'd finished to say, back home, thanks everyone who's had an order. Any issues whatsoever, message us and we'll sort it out, or we'll come back out to you, we'll get it right, because I don't want you to go back onto cigarettes. So if it's not working, remember to click it 5 times. All the basic things that I knew people didn't understand. And I put a post up saying, I'm back home. Thanks everyone for your orders. Another 27 people off the cigarettes, or whatever my post was. And this bird messaged me and says, all right, Paul, I take it I'm not getting a delivery then. And I was like, fuck. Her name was Tammy. She lived in Chelmsley Wood. Now, Chelmsley Wood from my house is a good 35 minutes, 40 minutes. It's just by the NEC, so it's half an hour, 40 minutes to the NEC from my house, something like that. And I was like, Tammy, I'm really sorry. I've just this minute walked in the door. It's 12:10, and I'll get it out to you by 10 o'clock in the morning. I'll come over in the morning. She was like, oh, you know what, Paul? I'm flying out at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, you know what? I'm on my way. Jumped in my car, back out there. Got to her house just before 1 o'clock in the morning. Got back home at 2. And that is just what we done, mate. I mean, and literally, up until we had the shop was always something that I wanted to do from day one. And then over the period of the next 6 months, the first shop I ever seen anywhere was Vapor, which is Matt's dad's shop.
Yeah.
In Erdington, which is a mission away from our house. And I remember seeing this vape shop, and I'd never seen a vape shop anywhere, mate. I'd never searched it online. Genuinely, I didn't know what my competition was. I didn't know what other people were selling. I didn't have a fucking clue. I just knew what we were doing. I was trying to do it to the best of my ability. I didn't even join a group on Facebook until after we'd opened the shop. So we'd been trading for over 12 months before I even realised that there was groups on Facebook about using electronic cigarettes. Because to me, up until that point, I'd never have joined a group about fucking Benson and Edges. It
Yeah, exactly.
didn't make sense to me at all. Do you know what I mean? And I remember seeing vaping in Erdington and thinking to myself, bastard, I've missed the boat, man. Someone else has beat me to this shop. And I went past there, and it had got a little settee in there and a couple of glass cabinets and everything that in my head I'd envisaged a vape shop. Bearing in mind, I didn't even know that this thing was huge in America at the time. I genuinely did not have a clue about what was going on outside of what I was doing in my own world. And to some extent, I still don't. You know, like when we after we launched Endless and stuff like that, and I can remember doing a sample before we launched the clean mod. We had I called it the clean mod because the sample that come was completely clean. There was no engraving on it, no fuck all. And I'd done what we called an hourglass, which actually was like a timekeeper, but I'd never seen a timekeeper.
Mm.
I genuinely didn't know there was a mod out there called a timekeeper with that curve on it. You know what I mean? I've got one sample in this house somewhere. And then I was a bit like, I'm not going to launch that because people think I've copied it, but I hadn't copied it. I'd never seen it. That was the absolute truth, because I weren't on millions of vaping pages. I weren't on all these modders pages. I'd never heard of fucking Avid Life because I wasn't using that mods. I didn't know who the fuck there was. You know what I mean? It was just, I was just doing what I thought I was doing. And quite honestly, in my own little bubble, I thought I was conquering the world on my own. It wasn't until I started looking around me and fucking joining these groups, I realised just how huge this thing was and how community-based it was. But we started trading in about, I don't know if it was the June or the July, and we opened the shop early May the following year. So we were getting on for sort of 9.5, 10 months worth of trading. And from day one, right up until the week before we opened the shop, our business grew and grew and grew and grew. And some nights I was out, some nights me and Tash was out, some nights me, Tash and a vet were out, some nights 4 of us were out. I can remember one, like we obviously started in the August, so we'd done one Christmas from the house before we opened the shop. And I said to Tasha, what we'll do is I'm not going to deliver after 12 o'clock on Christmas Eve. And then we'll have a break until New Year's Eve. And I'll go out New Year's Eve, and there's going to be people that want to stop smoking for the new year and whatever. Mate, I got in about 4 o'clock Christmas Eve. So I was in my house for 4 o'clock Christmas Eve. I was back out delivering on Boxing Day evening because people were fucking hounding me. And we delivered Boxing Day, the 26th, the 27th, the 28th, the 29th, the 30th, the 31st.
Fucking hell.
Back out New Year's Day. It was non-stop. It just grew and grew and grew and grew. And then obviously the more people that used us, the more family says, oh, what's that you're using? Where'd you get that from? Shady Vaping. Bam, we get another inbox message. You've got my Auntie Margaret off the cigarettes. Can you sort me out?
Yeah.
We're covering a 50-mile radius of where we live. It was just crazy, like ridiculously crazy. And then the week before we opened the shop, I got the keys on the Friday, and we didn't open the next Saturday. We opened the Saturday after that. So I got the keys on the Friday. For that following week, I was still out delivering every single night. Tasha was down the shop in the day, painting, cleaning, doing, and whatever. And then the week before, on that weekend, I delivered the Saturday and the Sunday. And then I said to Tasha, don't put no more posts up because I need to spend some time down the shop and make sure it's right for the weekend. And they were still coming in because people just got used to the fact that they messaged the Facebook page and we delivered the same day. As long as you ordered before 5 p.m, we honoured that delivery the same day. We'd go out there as long as it was within a sort of catchment of Birmingham, Dudley, Solihull, which is a big old fucking footprint.
It is huge.
We'd do it because we moved from our house to the shop with the same stock. We built up that much stock in 12 months. We had it there. We had fucking... We used to, even then, we were buying batteries in 50 of each colour at a time, Ego 1100s, because I knew that they'd sell. So we'd buy 50 black, 50 blue, 50 red, 50 stainless, and 50 pink. So that was the 5 colours that we used to stock. Then we'd have grey, grey, pink, black, blue, red cases, lanyards, C4s, all to match. So they went out as these vile, chavvy, colour-coded kits. But they worked, and one thing that so that was us. Like, that was the mad journey we went on. We opened the shop, and literally we hit the floor running with the shop. So up until 9 months ago, we seen a marked increase, and by marked, I mean some months we doubled our turnover from the previous month. It was just ridiculous. We grew financially month on month on month on month on month on month for nearly 5 years. It was just crazy. But the other thing that was mad in that time was just going from only having 1100s and 2 or 3 different types of coil in the shop to the likes of Smock have got fucking 877,000 calls just of their bastard owned. You know what I mean? It was just like mad to go through that journey. And one that I'm still fiercely passionate about. I know I've had people say to me, "Oh, you can be passionate all you like, mate, while you're making loads of dough." Firstly, we don't make as much money now as what we were making this time last year. We just don't. Margins are different. Business is tougher. There's more people out there trying to become millionaires overnight. But the other thing is, my passion is born from passion. It's not about the money. The money doesn't spur me on in any way, shape, or form.
Organic.
I just enjoy what we do. I enjoy someone coming to our shop, a smoker, and leaving vaping. I enjoy someone messaging me saying, "I can't thank you enough for getting my dad off the cigarettes. He's tried for the last 20 years to quit, and he's been into your shop, and he's no longer smoking cigarettes." It's mad, crazy, mate. It's just like something that I started this so Tasha didn't have to go to work 2 days a week so we could spend the weekends together. And for 11 months, we crossed like fucking ships in the night because we were just out grafting non-stop all the time. Never got to spend any time with the kids, never got to do anything on weekends. We couldn't go on holiday because I didn't want to not deliver kids to people, because I didn't want to let them down, because I wanted them not to be smoking. Crazy, crazy journey. And that's and obviously in the last 3 years we've launched our own products, and we're now working on the wire, and that we've now sourced some cotton, and we've got the liquid coming. It's been a mad thing. I don't enjoy it as much now as what we enjoyed 6 years ago. Huh?
I think what a lot of people don't understand is that this day and age in vaping, a lot of companies come and they invest millions and millions in a product. I think what a lot of people don't understand is that your graft was organic. It was actual graft. You didn't come in with thousands and thousands of pounds and go, "Fuck it, I'm doing it." You actually started from the fucking bottom and got where you needed to be. And I think that's the main moral of the story is it doesn't take millions and millions. If you're a fucking grafter and you get out there and you actually want to do something, you can do it. And that's a massive moral of the story.
And I'll say it again, and I, like, genuinely, if we'd have lost that 500 quid, it was my only 500 quid. The first time we ever placed an order direct with China, mate, I sent them $2,000 and I was shitting myself. Now, we'd made quite a lot of money in that time, but I still valued $2,000. At that time, it was probably around about 1,300 quid. We were getting a fantastic exchange rate, nearly 170 exchange rate on the pound to the dollar. But I was fucking twitching, man, thinking, if this cunt robs me for $2,000, I'm going to have to spend another $2,000 flying out to find him to chop his fucking legs off. Do you know what I mean? And even though we'd made a lot of money in that time, and we had made more money than I could have ever imagined that we would have made, I still valued the fact that that $2,000 could do someone something, and I needed it not to be wasted. I needed not to get this fucking $2,000 took off me. And I was at work in the day, mate. Tasha would literally be driving to wholesalers every single day, because for the first few months, if we started off with 400 quid and overnight we turned that into £1,000, and the next day we went out and we spent £1,000 and we turned that into fucking 1,800 quid. And the next day we went out and spent £1,800, and every day the sales were growing, they were growing, they were growing. It was months after, 12 months after I opened the shop. In fact, probably longer than that I even had money around me, because the industry went from having that much product to having fucking product coming out daily.
Yeah.
As a supplier, I've always been a bit, as I said half an hour ago, I'm an all or fuck all sort of guy. So if Smock released, well, it wasn't even Smock then, Sigelli was killing the game back then. So if Sigelli released 6 mods in a week, mate, we'd have 6 mods a week coming in the shop, and we'd be buying them in. I can remember me and James Burr buying in 10 at a time, 5 each, man, just in case it didn't sell. That's how the business grew. I know James was exactly the same. James started the same way. He'd been made redundant. His mum had, or something had happened at the business where he worked with his mum and his dad somewhere else. And actually, they used their redundancy money to start that business. And they started off taking baby steps. And actually, I can remember James and I discussing the Pioneer View IVP.
IPV.
The 50-watt one with the touch sensor fire button on it. And they were like fucking, I think they cost us about $55 or something, $60. They retailed for, I remember selling them for $89.99. Now, I'd never sold nothing this expensive in my life, mate, for one thing. Not only that, then I was thinking, I've got to sell this cunt the mod for 90 quid. I've got to take money off him for a battery. He's going to want another 25 quid for a tank. Who the fuck are you going to spend £110 on some kit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because actually, we'd started off selling people, like, as much as we started off with really good margins, very quickly, more people started doing it. I started just saying, you know what, I don't need to make this much money on it. Actually, I'd rather sell more of it and make a smaller margin, but convert more people to vaping than I would trying to have one-hit wonders and making 50 quids out of people. And I can remember James phoning me up saying, mate, there's this new fucking mod come out. We'd both got the Hannah DNA 30 clones in, 30 watts. I remember James phoning me or messaging me saying, mate, the fucking 50 watt, they've got a 50 watt device coming out. And I was like, fucking, what sort of mad person needs 50 watts, man? And I was like, how much are they? And he's like, $60 or whatever, but we're going to have to sell them for like 80 or 90 quid or something, or 85 quid or whatever there was. And I was like, mate, who the fuck's going to spend 85 quid on these? And they're like, even if we buy 10 of them each, that's going to be like fucking $600 each that we've got to stand out of. Plus, and obviously you've got to wait for it to come from China, so we've got to stand out of this money for a week or 10 days. And I was like, you know what, fuck it, man. If you order 10 black and 10 silver, we'll have 5 of each colour each. Fuck me, mate. They come in, bam, they're gone, mum, we're gone in day. Do you know what I mean? Sold out. And I was like, fucking James, I need some more of these old VPs. that sort of growth was just mental. And then we went through the point of 50 watt, then 70 watt, then an 80 watt, then 100 watt, then a 120 watt, 150, bam, 200 watts with the Snow. The Snow Wolf is the first 200 watt I can remember. I might be wrong. There might have been a 200 watt before that. But
James is in the comments. James is in the comments. He said, you have to sell them all to get one for free. He said, I remember this. We had to sell them all to get one for free.
It was crazy. I mean, James will tell you. I mean, we used to buy various products together, and we would be literally sitting there going, what if it don't sell, mate? And I was like, you know what? He's got to sell. People are asking for it. And he'd be like, well, we bought Vision Spinner 2s together when they first come. So, and to be fair, when James and I was doing this working together this is going back 4 years ago now.
Yeah.
The first deal I ever done with James, actually, I'd opened my shop already before Evolution started. We'd opened in the May. I think James opened in the June or the July time or the August, within a couple of months of my opening. But we'd obviously been trading 12 months prior to that, so we'd already got a fairly decent customer base. We had a big following on Facebook. At the point of opening the shop within 12 months, we were about 8,000 strong on the Facebook page. Back then, the Facebook pages were extremely responsive to what we'd be doing. So if I put a post out, we'd have a fucking mass response to it every single time. It weren't just going out to 10 people like they do now. And look, me and James would have these discussions, and I'd be saying, even Axis mods, we bought Axis mods together. So James got them from whoever makes them. Who made the Axis?
Fucking hell, now you're going back. That's a good fucking 4 years. It was one in Malaysia. Was it Malaysian? Some Malaysian made it.
It was it was a Filipino company.
That's it.
We had the Axis mods coming, and we had them fucking Crown RDAs coming. Now, I can't remember what we paid for the Axis mods, but I can't remember what they sold for fucking about 170, was it?
Yeah, when they first came out, they were about 170. Yeah, James is saying MCM Philippines.
We might have paid like 120 for these things. And it was like, it was certainly mine. And I know James at that time was just venturing into the authentic hardware and stuff like that. And I was saying, fucking 120 for one mod. We're going to make 50 quid on it. That's if we sell the cunts. Do you know what I mean? And then I can order all this gear from China for 120 quid. I can get a fucking big cardboard box full of stuff from China. That genuinely was certainly. I mean, James was moving a lot of clone stuff back then as well, and he was like, "Would you want some or not?" And I was like, "I think I had 5, and I don't know if James started off with 5, and I had 5 of these RDAs and." The Axis mods, I kept one Axis mod for myself, which I've still got to this day. It's the only mod that I've never got rid of that I bought back then. And I just remember thinking, why are people spending this much money? But I genuinely didn't know how big the scene was behind what was going on. I thought this was me. And then I thought James would sort of join my party, if I'm being honest. And then Grey Eyes had opened, and I just seen it growing around us. At this point, I'd still never, ever, ever been on a Facebook page. So I'm in the shop one day, and we employed this woman who worked there. She only worked there short term before I fucked her off, the rat. And if you're watching,
sorry if you're watching.
You are watching. You are a rat. It was like K funds and Tay funds, and that style of RTA was massive in the clone market. It was obviously massive in the authentic market. And I was like, who the fuck can I get some clone tanks off? I was asking this bird, and she was like, oh, go onto Facebook, join the Facebook group, UK Vape Trades. And I was like, there's Facebook groups for fucking smoking. And she was like, that was genuinely my answer. I was like, why the fuck are people even talking about their electronic cigarette, the knobs? Honestly. And I went on there, and that month, James was sponsoring it. Evolution Vaping was sponsoring it. And I remember messaging James and saying, hi, mate, I don't know you from Adam. You obviously don't know me. Shady Vaping. I'm based in Birmingham as well. We've just opened our shop. I see you're advertising these K-Fund clones. Could I buy some wholesale? Now, at that time, James was ball deep decorating his first shop. He was trying to get his first shop opened. They'd had some major drama about the name change because I can't remember what they were supposed to be called before Evolution Vaping. I mean, if James is still watching it, he'll put it in the comments, I'm sure. But they'd called the business a name. They'd done the limited side of it. They'd got the fucking shop signs done. They'd got the website done. They'd got all the apparel done and the brochures done and leaflets done. And bam, someone hit them with a lawsuit saying, you can't fucking call it that, mate. We're called that. Oh, this company wasn't even limited, but James' solicitors had pretty much said to him, you know what? You might get away with it. You probably won't even get done for it, but it's going to be a headache. And James says, you know what? Fuck it.
The Vaping Emporium.
Vaping, as James just commented.
Yeah, the Vaping Emporium.
Yeah, the Vaping Emporium. He changed it to Evolution Vaping. So he was saying to me, mate, look, I'm opening my shop. I've got a fucking headache. I'm trying to sort my shit out. I'll see if I can sort you some tanks out. And then about a week later, I messaged him again and says, all right, mate, I know you're busy, pain in the arse, any chance of sorting some tanks out? Yeah. And I know James was like, mate, fuck off and get your own tanks, you dickhead. And then James messaged me and says, all right, mate, we've oversold, but with a Blue Ego battery, an 1100. He said, we've oversold on our website. Can you hook me up with a blue battery? And I was like, yeah. Can you hook me up with some K-funds, you dickhead? And actually, I drove over to James's shop, and in fact, Martin drove to our shop, picked up the battery. James agreed to meet me at his shop, and I took some K-funds off him and stuff like that. And then we worked actually really closely for a long time, for probably getting on for 12 months. And I think like we were doing not bad takings. You know what I mean? We hit the floor running quite well because we got this big Facebook following. And I can remember me and James having a chat very, very early on, and I said to James, he was saying to me, fucking hell, mate, I don't know if we've done the right thing. We've put the dough in, everything we've got, we've put into this and whatever. Now the cunt's a multi-billionaire.
He's just put...
No, but
the Vaping Emporium rang me today with his tail between his legs asking for a wholesale account.
I know. But I can remember James saying to me, I don't know if I've done the right thing. We've put everything in this and it's really slow taking off. And I said to James, mate, you've got a fantastic shop. You've got the right stock. You've got the right attitude. You're not sort of just selling any old shit to any old person. I used to go in there, and actually their doctrine was very similar to ours. It was, what do you want? What do you need? And like people are coming saying, all right, mate, back then clouding wasn't a thing, man. People didn't come in and ask for a fucking smock island. There was no such thing. But there was still time spent with people saying, well, what flavours do you like? James had got all the flavours available to try on the bar. But I remember saying to him, you know what, mate, it will work for you. I don't know you from Adam, but the time that I'd spent in the shop and the setup that he'd got and the way that they conducted themselves, I remember having that conversation with him very clearly and saying, I know that you'll succeed, and he has, and it's not necessarily for any other reason that the foundation steps that were taken right at the very, very start of this were done properly, and they were done right, and we sold the right products to the right people for the right money. But more importantly than that, we backed everything up that we done with the right customer service. And there were shops around us that were renowned, and probably are still renowned, for having shit customer service. And one of the things that I was passionate about right from the start was, having worked in a galvanizing company for 17 years at the time, having servicing 2,000 plus customers a week, customer service was at the top of our agenda every single working day of my life. And I used to say to Tasha, if we can get that aspect of the customer service right, we are onto a winner. We will get repeat business. If we get repeat business, we'll have a solid business. Yeah. And 6 years on, we're still doing our thing, and we're doing it well. And 6 years on, James has expanded beyond probably anything he ever imagined when he started at that point. And I think all the companies that have grew to them levels are the people that took the right steps right at the start to grow the business. We took baby steps. We spent the money that we had to spend. Me and James putting in an order for 20 IVPs between us. James is probably ordering these things in 200 at a time. Now, we order them in big, massive quantities for our own shop. Do you know what I mean? We got to the point where I can remember going, mate, and buying one packet of Kangatech coils because I knew I'd got 5 to send out in orders when we were delivering from the house. And tomorrow, Tasha would go and buy another packet of 5. And if I wasn't sure, this geezer at the wholesalers had cut 2 off the fucking strip for me, and we'd buy 2 of the cunts. But we never spent more money than what we had. When a new product come out, I didn't go out there and buy 60 of them. If I could afford to, I'd buy myself one. I'd try it and go, you know what? It's no better than what we've got. I don't think we should have it. Or, actually, it's really good. I think we'll get the extra £5 for that tank. Mm. There's too many people now coming to this industry with deep pockets, think they can make £1 million in fucking 3 months. And you know what? Them days in this industry, we could have, if James and I had have had £1 million to start off with 5 years ago, we'd be multi-billionaires now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That is, honestly, it's the difference. Like, we didn't have the deep pockets then to put into it what was needed to get the growth that we've got now. Had we have had that money, we could have smashed the market left, right, and centre, up and down the length and breadth of the country, and been wealthy. And I mean seriously wealthy, to the point where you wouldn't even see me on Facebook anymore, mate. No, I'm being perfectly honest. You know what I mean? Look, we could have made obscene amounts of money. Now, as it goes, James has got a massively successful business. We've got a very successful business for what we do. And I'm happy with our growth. I'm happy that we've grew it ourselves. Organically, between Tasha and me, we grew our business to a level where people, when I walk around the NEC, and I'm not being pretentious, it blows my mind that I can walk around the NEC at Expo and people go, fucking hell, it's Paul Harrison. That blows my mind still now, because I'm just a geezer who started selling vape stuff so my missus didn't have to work in a petrol station.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But we've got to that point where Tasha is no longer Paul's wife. She's Natasha. People know who she is. They know who I am. They know what we do. They know who James is. They know who these big players are. They all started out right at the start, taking little footsteps, growing our business around what we could afford to grow it. You know what I mean? I say I can remember when all that new product started coming out, and James would be saying to me, fucking hell, mate, we bought 100 E-Leafs, mate, 100 iStick 20s, 50 each. I'd never, ever ordered 50 of anything in my fucking life. And Tasha's saying to me, fucking 50 mods, are you mad? And I was like, you know what, I think they're gonna change the game. I really believe that having the battery indicator and having to say how much power you've got, and it's not a stick anymore, it's a little bit boxy, I think we could be onto something here. But these weren't decisions we took lightly, mate. You know what I mean? We bought 50 Vision Spinner 2s, but only 10 of each colour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We weren't buying in the thousands then. And then even then, you're thinking, fuck, I've got to sell these batteries. A battery for 27 quid. Now, 2 years before that, we were selling 1,100 batteries for nearly fucking 27 quid because there was no alternative. There was no competition. We could do what we wanted to. But I'm glad that we took the steps that we did. I'm glad we got into the industry when we did. I've enjoyed it. Do I enjoy it as much now as I did then? Probably not. And I think that's personally probably because it's become more business for me. I have to make sure that we're doing the right thing. Tasha has to make sure we're doing the right thing, because there's 8 people relying on their livelihoods based on what we do as a business. And them things matter to me. They do matter to me. And I'd hate to think that a bad decision we made meant that we have to lay off everyone that we employ. And I'm sure there's some of that in James and anyone else that's in this industry, is that back then I used to finish work and I'd go down the shop. Of a Saturday, I'd be working in the shop. 1 o'clock, Tasha might come down with the kids and help me in that shop. Sunday, she might come down and help me. For me to have a day off on a Saturday, Tasha would have to be working in the shop. And as much as that was a grind and it was hard work and it was non-stop, I enjoyed every single minute of it. Don't get me wrong, there was days I walked in this house at 9 o'clock, fucked mate, saying, we started this so I didn't have to work.
No, I'm not doing nothing but work.
Yeah. Times was fucking hard, but I still enjoyed it every single day. I enjoyed being down the shop. I enjoyed meeting new people. More importantly, I enjoyed converting people from cigarettes to vaping. And even to this day, there's nothing that gives me that same feeling, without sounding corny. It's up there with one of the top feelings in my life of actually someone coming in and saying, all right, mate, I've heard about these electronic cigarettes, but I think they're a load of shit. I don't think they'll work for me. And 45 minutes later, he's listened to my sales pitch and me talking shit to him for 45 minutes. And I've had 30 quid off him and he's gone away with an AO and he's vaping and he's loving it. And he might come back in a week and say, them sort of people go out the shop saying, you know what, if I only use it of an evening when I'm around the missus, I'll smoke at work still. And they're back in within a week saying, mate, I ain't had a fag since the day that I left the shop. I don't even want a cigarette. I'm just happy doing what I'm doing. They're good times. They are genuinely. They're.
I think people forget that it's wherever you sell them a kit, they're going to use whatever. If you convert somebody from cigarettes to e-cigarettes, I think people forget you saving a life. You really are saving a life.
Yeah, I mean, James has just put in there, we could have done what Totally Wicked should have done. And that is the absolute truth of it. There was my vision when I first started this, and bearing in mind at this point, mate, we got no shop. Any money that we had was tied up in stock. I would drive to work with my seats down in my car because I'd got stock in my car ready to go out delivering over night time. And I remember saying to Tash, if we should, like, I wanted to open a shop within weeks of us starting this whole thing, more because I wanted to be able to say to people, come down, try it, and then tell me it doesn't work. I know if you can hold this thing in your hand, if you can inhale it and exhale it and understand that you see something coming out of your gob and it sort of feels like you're smoking a cigarette, but you can do that with a cheesecake flavour, you'll take the fucking kit off me, and I know you'll come back and thank me for it in 6 weeks' time. I know that you will. And I had this vision about sort of opening one shop, then bam, opening 2 and opening 3 and opening 4 and opening 5. But the truth of it was, by the time we got to the point of opening the shop, it took us 10 months to find that shop and open it. The best thing I ever done was not rushed into opening the shop straight away. Because the truth of it was, mate, I had no knowledge of what I was doing. I was learning along the way. And like Tasha was vaping, I was vaping, and I'd get in from work and she'd say, do you know you can do this? And I'd be like, fuck, no, I didn't actually. Do you know what I mean? And we'd be learning, and we grew, both of us, through that journey, learning with the products we had in our hand. Now, I told you the other night, we used to sell the Nautilus too. No, sorry, the Nautilus tank. We used to sell that tank for $32.99. Now, to me, that was extortionate amount of money. I never had one myself because even though I was paying 22 quid for it wholesale and making a tenner on it or whatever I was making on it, I couldn't warrant spending that much money on a tank just because my Mini Pro Tank 2 was still doing the job for me. And I delivered one to a woman one night, and I fumbled about with it in a kitchen trying to fucking set it up. I didn't have a clue. Obviously on that was like one of the first tanks where the whole tank screw off from the coil.
Yeah.
And I fucked about in a kitchen, and I managed to get it working, and I had a vape on it. And I left her house and said to Tasha, have we got another Nautilus tank in stock? And she was like, yeah, we've got 3. And I was like, fucking hell, we must be balling if we've got 3 in stock. And I was like, set one up, or get me one out. I want to set it up. And I had it on a 1300 spinner battery with a big fucking beauty ring. And it looked like one of them blow up clubs you get at the fucking WWF wrestling or whatever. But it vaped fantastically well. And then I used Nautilus right up until the point where the Nautilus 2 come out. And again, James and I were the first people in the Midlands to have the Nautilus 2, the Mini, sorry.
Mini, yeah.
And I used the Nautilus Mini right the way up until I've used an AO. And that, so on my mouth to lung journey, it's been quite basic, really. It's always been about getting the best vape I can to replace cigarettes for me. It's never been about, anyone who knows me knows I've spent a fucking fortune on sub-ohm vaping.
Mods,
That
yeah.
is a hobby of mine. And actually, if I sold the shops tomorrow and sold Endless and had nothing to do with the industry whatsoever, the reality is my hobby of sub-ohm vaping would probably fizzle out pretty fucking quick. Truth of it was, we had new products coming in all the time. Certainly when, you know yourself, mechs were dropping regular, RDA started fucking coming out regular. I used to have one of everything that come into the shop by that point. I'd be at home building, fucking about with new wire. James had phoned, mate, we've got some 22 gauge wire. And I was like, what the fuck are you going to do with wire that thick? You know what I mean? Fucking hell. I need a drill for starters to sort my post holes out because I'm only using fucking 20. That part of it was 100% hobby for me, and I enjoyed it, and I still enjoy it. I do that every day to stop me from smoking cigarettes still now, all this time on. But I still enjoy what we do, mate, and it's been a mad journey. I've met some fantastic people along the way. I've met some arseholes along the way. But generally, I've loved the last 6 years of our life. It's been mad. It's been hard work. It's been stressful. It's put massive pressure on me and Tasha at the start because so much time was done. And truth be told, these last 6 months, we've started just enjoying it a little bit more and just taking a little bit long. Since she's had the baby and she's not down there every day, nice to come in and do fuck all and actually know that the staff are down there and they're doing their job and they're running the shop and doing.
Yeah, but you're not doing fuck all. That's another thing that people don't know. You are still have a 9-to-5 fucking job. You're not sat behind a till. You have a 9-to-5 job. People don't realize you work a full-time job and have that as well. So that is fucking extra stress there straight away. A lot of people don't realize that though.
Because I'm a greedy cunt.
The thing is,
on the 14th of February, I've been there 23 years. So,
I think if you took your 9-to-5 job away and vaping became full time, even back when you first started, when you got into vaping, if it would have come full time, I think you'd have hated it a lot more than anything. I think you'd have lost the passion.
I know. I'm 95% confident. Had I have not had a full-time job, Shady Vaping would have been a multinational company by now. I know that I'd have put the effort in to drive it forward and do what we needed to do to open more shops and I don't know. I just know that we'd have done different things on a bigger scale. That says I probably wouldn't have enjoyed that. So the thing with me is I really, really enjoyed it at the start. And I enjoyed knocking on people's doors and saying, hi, I'm Paul from Shady Vaping. I've got your kit. This is how it works. Da, 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 da. I enjoyed next day getting a message off them saying, thanks ever so much for delivering that kit. I've not had a cigarette, but this is happening. How do I stop this happening? And we'd have a chat with them. And Tasha was learning. So I'd get in and I'd think, fuck, I've got to answer some messages. And Tasha's like, oh, no, I've answered them all now. They're all sorted. And these are your deliveries. And I've got your deliveries ready to go. And I really, really enjoyed that. I hate the commercial side of the business. I hate the fact we have to do certain things. We're running a business now that's got bigger than I ever expected it to. I still enjoy the basics of vaping. I enjoy being in the shop. I enjoy all of them things. I hate the commercial side of it.
I think like, because I see it quite a lot from a different aspect, like, especially like with expos and stuff. I love the fact that you and Tasha go off and do your own thing because you're a face and you enjoy the people. You know, we do what we do at the booth, and you guys get off and you go speak to people you've not seen most, and that's a nice thing for me. Do you know what I mean? That's the fact is that you're actually taking some time out to actually do your thing, to communicate with people and to actually be that face. Because as I'll read Doug's comment, remember you walking into the office and being like, holy shit, that's Paul Harrison. Then messaging my missus saying it's Paul Harrison, and she was like, who's that? You know, it's the nice thing of actually people recognizing the graft.
I can remember the first time I met Doug at Bleachers, and Matt took me into the sales room, and he's like, "Oh, Doug, this is Paul." And I shook Doug's hand, and he was like that. And then I went out, and Matt said, "Mate, he's one of your fanboys, man. He's a bad fanboy of yours." But it's nice. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, even going around Expo, it's still, I find it mad that people will come up to me just to say, yeah, they might not have even had an endless mod, mate. More to say, I've had people come up to me and just say, I had my first kit off you. there's people that still follow us on Facebook now, follow me on Facebook, that I've become sort of friends with, and friends where I'd never phone them up if I needed 40 quid to borrow off them. But I mean, I wouldn't walk past them in the street and not say hello. But that I know they're not smoking cigarettes anymore 5 years on because we sold them their first kit.
Yeah.
And I know they've got a massive regard for us for doing that. But I've got just as much regard in them for trusting us to do that job for them. Do you know what I mean? So I genuinely enjoy walking around Expo, and I do find it, I'm humbled that people will want 5 minutes of my time. When I need a piss, it does my head in because I just want them to fuck off so I can go to the toilet. It still blows my mind that people know who I am because from just doing a job. It's crazy. I don't walk around the fucking street and I get people come up to me going, mate, you're the geezer that done the galvanising on my lamppost for me. You know what I mean? There's no fucking difference really. I'm still just doing a job. I'm just trying to do the best that we can. It's mad. It's crazy. It's a crazy industry, mate. It's a crazy industry. And I can't think of many other industries that have become, I mean, it's a cutthroat industry now. It's hard work. It's hard to be competitive. But generally, even if people have got differences of opinion, differences of nature, people don't get on all the time. People aren't best of friends all year round. I'm 99% sure that most people in this industry, and I use probably that a little bit loosely, but pretty much most people could sit in a room and have a decent debate without fucking fist flying. Mad, and differences seem to get put aside and people work together. And the reality is it betters both of the companies. It's as simple as that. It does. But it's just mad that it's such a competitive, cutthroat industry. But on the other hand, it's so closely knit. And there's times where I've messaged James in the past saying, mate, I'm in the shit. I've run out of fucking Kangatech calls. And he's like, yeah, same, mate, pop in and pick them up. I can remember James messaging me saying, fucking hell, mate, China on shutdown. I've got a vape, mate. So I ain't got no fucking stock. Can you hook me up? Yeah, mate, what do you want? And drop a couple of grand parcel over there to him. And I've took a couple of grand's worth of gear off him when I've been in the shit. And actually, you tend to think that I'd say to James, oh, sorry, mate, I'm low myself. And James say, nah, mate, I've only got fucking 10 Kangatech calls in stock myself. I can't give you none. But the truth of it was, right from the start, Tasha and I tried to work with as many people as we could and keep business on a level with them. So we've used Green Dog Vaping. Green Dog Vaping opened a store 2 more from ours 3 months after we opened. And I knew that I could phone him up and say, and still have done recent times where I've said, mate, we're in the shit for such and such. Have you got it? Yeah, mate, just go to the shop and take it and then either drop it back or weigh me in next time you see me. It's not in their interest to help me out, really. But I've done the same thing for lots of people. Someone messaged us before and says, they're opening their new shop in Coventry, I think it was. Or certainly that sort of neck of the woods. And he was like, on a Friday night, he messaged me, or Friday afternoon, and he was like, mate, we open up tomorrow. We've got everything ready to go. I've got no fucking hygiene tips for the testers. And I was like, well, our shop's open till 8:30, mate. Get down and grab a couple of hundred. He was like, how much do I owe you? And I was like, don't worry about it. Now, I'd paid for these. I used to buy them in bags of 1,000 from China. They're fucking cents each. I was like, don't worry about it, mate. One day I might need to phone you up when I'm in the shit. And that's genuinely how I've worked. You know what I mean? I'll scratch your back. You scratch mine. As long as I'm not scratching yours all the time and you never scratch mine, which happens, you know what I mean? There's people that I don't work with now that I used to work with 4 years ago because they're arseholes. And I'm not about funding other people's businesses, and I'm not about not concentrating on my own to make sure theirs is better. But certainly I'll work with anyone, and I have worked with most of the people in most of the industry and just tried to get on with people. And even if I'm not buying off them on the regular, I haven't got no beef with no one. There's no one that I've had fucking a million messages these last 2 weeks about this whole Stu vapes and this saga, and I wasn't even going to bring it up. But the reality is that I'm friends with Stu and I'm friends with Matt, and what goes on in the middle, I don't fucking care about. It's none of my business. I'm not interested. I haven't answered anyone that's inboxed me about it because I don't even really know what's going on. I know Stu's not at V-Juice anymore. I know that he's at TYV. And that's about the extent of my knowledge of this whole saga that's going on. And from that point forward, I've got nothing else to say on it because I'm not interested. It doesn't affect my business what they're doing. I've got no cause to get involved and fucking tickle tackle about what's going on. I'm not interested.
Exactly.
Firstly, I've not fallen out with anyone over it because I've got no cause to. It's ridiculous. So we just
can I ask you a question from chat? Becca and Sam Watson, what was the reason behind calling Shady Vaping?
Shady Vaping, what? I had a Facebook page called 50 Shades of Birmingham that was a disgusting trolling page, right? I'm not even going to try and gloss this up and make out it was some nice fucking discussing old fucking parts of Birmingham. It was just an out-and-out disgusting trolling page. To be fair, there was good banter on the page. The page is still there, and I post on it every now and again. But that page started, and 50 Shades of Birmingham, the original page was a massive, massive page. We had 250,000 followers on the page. The page was getting viewed by people on Facebook. Peak weeks, 12 million times a week. It was a big, big, big page. So when we launched the vaping, I called it Shady Vaping just because everyone on that page used to call me Shades. And that was the only reason. So when we first I launched the Shady Vaping page on Facebook on a Wednesday, and we shared it on the 50 Shades of Birmingham page. We obviously got 2,000 or 3,000 followers instantly because the page was so big. And then when I woke up on the Saturday morning, actually the 50 Shades of Birmingham page had been pulled by Facebook because it just used to get reported all the time because I was being racist or homophobic. And it was more, no, but I mean, it was genuinely, this book was set around me growing up in the late 80s, early 90s. So I'm going to say it. I used to get sent to the packy shop to buy some milk. Simple as that, right? And I'd say, which packy shop, the top one or the bottom one? No, go to the bottom one. He's fucking 3 pence cheaper. So when you're trying to write little silly stories about the 90s, I'd put on my Facebook post something about the packy shop. Now, if you followed my page from the start, you sort of got the gist of what I was saying. But the bigger the page got and the more people that viewed the page, the more posts that got shared and the more people that started seeing the content that wasn't subscribing to the page. Obviously, the more people report the page, the more people that report the page, the more times I get banned. So I've had a lot of people messaging me saying, Paul, why the fucking hell have you got 10 Facebook profiles? The reason is because I'd get banned today and I'd have to start a new Facebook profile so I could admin my own page so I could keep the page ticking over. Then 3 days into that, I might get banned again. I'd have to start another one. And then I ended up with these 10 accounts that I was rotating around 30-day bans. That's the truth of it. So that is the reason why it was called Shady Vaping. No other reason.
I love that. Absolutely love that. I knew that answer, but I still love that answer to the day. I love it. What other questions have we got? We just got some really nice comments. People saying they bought the dirty, really love it. People saying they're wanting to buy endless mods. People saying surprises. Someone got a surprise of one of the Venom mods. So people just literally just bigging up and being really nice, giving some nice comments about the mod. So that is really nice to see. And James says, keep pushing. You'll be a multinational company and maybe as famous as Big Tom.
I don't want to be as famous as you, Tom. I want to be as rich as James.
Oh, we'd all like to be a penny behind James. Saying that, I'd like to be 500 quid behind James.
I wouldn't want being fucking 2.5 mil behind the cunt.
The books are awesome. Had to buy them from the garage.
Genuinely, the likes of James. Me and James have had difference of opinion on various things over the last 4 or 5 years. We've never fallen out. We've disagreed about things. But one thing that I can honestly say, and I'm not blowing smoke up James's ass, to see him grow from that point where he's saying to me in his shop, fucking hell, mate, I don't know if I've done the right thing, to having the distribution place, his own liquid, other things that he produces, the products that James had out there that people didn't even know belonged to James before people knew they belonged to James. He's always been on top of his game, and actually to see that grow. And I put a post up before saying how much I value the industry for what it given me, what it given my family, and what it given to Tash and our kids, and the fact that it allows me to employ people and give them a livelihood. And I remember James commenting on it, saying that he loves the fact that he's put his mum and dad in a position where they'll never sort of want for nothing again. Obviously, both James's mum and dad are both active in that business. I use the term very loosely active for James's dad because he just seems to swan around in his posh cars and that. But they're both there. James's mum does the accounts, and James's dad, I can't remember what his job role is, but he actually works there, and obviously Matt works there. So the family's massively involved in the business. But James employs a lot of people there, and I know he's humbled by the fact that what he's done has allowed people to have a livelihood out of what he's done. And there's other people that have grown in this industry that make my fucking teeth itch because they're arsehole cunts and they shouldn't be where they are. They've got there by default, and I'm not even naming names. It's not about that. I just see some people work damn hard for what they've got. They work passionately. They put everything into it, and they've got to a place that they deserve, 100% deserve. There's other people that have just come in there with money.
Yeah.
And they don't run a passionate company. They've got no passion. They've got no pride in what they do. It's just about buying products, selling it cheaper than anyone else, cutting their own throats just to make a penny. I've never been that guy. We've never had mad sales on that. Once we've done a 40% sale on Endless in 2.5 years, and that was because we relaunched our website. Generally, we have a 10% discount code, which I never, ever had a discount code. For the first 4 years, I didn't have a discount code on our website. The first discount code I ever done was for Mech Addiction.
Yeah.
2 years ago. So I was never about being the cheapest. I was not about selling massive amounts of product. I was not about making millions of pounds. The money's been fantastic in our life. It's given us a lifestyle that's been, I value everything that I've got, genuinely. And
but it's not been given.
No, I know it hasn't. I know we've both worked hard for it. And I know there's people that will say to me about Tash, but you know what? Tash works harder in that business than I do in some senses. You know what I mean? I was always the sort of front face of Shady Vaping and the front face of Endless. But the reality is, Tasha was down the shops every single day. She's sitting up on a Sunday night doing the rotas for next week. She's doing stock orders. She's doing this. She's doing it like non-stop, paying wages and doing everything that she does. She's managing the staff that send the post out to the people that order off our website. And then some cunts will write on our Facebook page, we'll saying, just want to say a massive thanks to Paul Harrison for my stuff. And that's nice that I'm recognised, don't get me wrong. But the reality is I don't even know what the fuck you've ordered. I ain't got a clue. I don't know when you ordered it. I don't know what you've got. I know that Tasha's got her team working well enough to get that stuff out to you. That's what I know. We do work hard for what we've got, and I've tried never to sit on my laurels and just let it just plod on and the money come rolling in, because the truth of it is it doesn't come rolling in anymore. And again, James, if you're still watching, I'll tell you that business week on week or month on month, business becomes more and more difficult to be competitive, to have the right products, to take a risk on stocking certain products. Now, back in the day, anything new that come out, I'd buy it. When we got to the point where I'd got that money behind me that I knew, we went from like having to check the PayPal or the bank account to say, can we spend £1,000 on this, to firing £50,000 off to China for Endless mods in the blink of an eye, not worrying about it. And I'm back to the point now where I'm like, do I spend that money on this product? Is it going to sell? Am I going to end up selling it at a loss because it's not the right thing to have? During that mad climb of technology change, I could have bought fucking any old shit, mate, in any old colour, and the fucking stuff sold, simple as, and it sold for big money as well. Do you know what I mean? So business has become more and more difficult. That's when I stopped enjoying it so much. Not because we had easy times. I enjoyed the fact that we could have 2 and 3 staff in the shop on a Saturday, and I knew we'd take enough money to cover their wages. But when we were working, we were having good banter and good laughs. But every single customer that come in that door was served properly and served well and sold the right gear and went out of the shop happy. Them are the times that I enjoyed, simple as that. And I still enjoy what we do, don't get me wrong. And I've still ultimately got that same passion for people not smoking cigarettes. It's just different. It's just a different industry.
Yeah.
Now,
I think it's the people that keep you sane, though. Seeing the new people and seeing people getting off fags and actually still seeing people being passionate about vaping is still a massive drive in it, without a doubt.
No, absolutely. I mean, I don't go down the shops nearly as much as I should do. But the last time I went into Yardley, I sold a kit to a man who came in. And the thing is, they're working with geezers that are using smock aliens. And so he's coming into our shop saying, all right, mate, what's the best kit you've got for 70 quid? I want to get off the cigarettes. And I'm saying, Joytech AO, mate, it's £29.99. Bottle of liquid, £3.99. In fact, if you buy the liquid with the kit, I'll do it for the bottle of liquid for £2.50. So for £32.49, you can have a kit that I know works because I use one myself.
Mm.
You ain't got to spend 70 quid. And on that basis, how many cigarettes you smoke in a day? It's 20. It's about 9 quid now for 20 fags. 10, £11 something. I've seen them in the services for £12 fucking 50. £12.50. That heroin's cheaper than cigarettes, mate. But I said to him, if you're smoking 20 fags a day at a tenner a day, it's Saturday, get to Thursday morning, throw it in the bin, carry on buying your fags, you're about 6 quid better off. That's how confident I am that this will work for you. And he went out of there with an AO and he come back in about 2 weeks later. I was down the shop and he come back in. He's like, fucking hell, mate, thanks ever so much for that. He said, they're all taking the piss out of me at work because I can't blow a cloud. He said, but I ain't had a fucking fag. He said, and all them cunts are blowing their clouds and still smoking cigarettes, the daft bastards.
Exactly.
And that's something I've said time and time again, that all these people on Facebook who are fucking using triple stacked endlesses and smock aliens and fucking TFE 12s at 220 watts, turn off their video for Facebook, mate, and sit and light up a fag. I don't believe, I'm not saying everyone. I know there's people that sub-ohm, that use sub-ohm as a way not to smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
I don't think there's as many people doing that as what used to back in the day. And again, the reality was, if you look back 5 or 6 years ago, most people that sub-ohm vaped, and sub-ohming them was like going down to 0.9. That's a fucking right rowdy vapor. They'd already been through this mouth-to-lung thing. That they were still doing the mouth-to-lung thing. They adopted the sub-ohm thing as a side project of not smoking cigarettes using the mouth-to-lung.
Exactly.
The birth of a sub-ohm tank, in my opinion, poisoned this industry, changed the industry, changed the way that people start vaping. So they started on a fucking 0.2 coil in a tank, out the packet with some low nick, high VG liquid, and they could blow a cloud with no knowledge, and they thought they were fucking marvellous, and they loved it because their pals thought they were cool as fuck. My concern with that is they're going to still be smoking cigarettes.
More than likely. More than likely.
What's that?
I've got a few questions though before we sign out. First question I'm going to ask you is, any plans for Expo that you can spill? So can you give us any info about what we're going to be doing at Expo?
Expo, we will be, time permitting, because obviously they break up about the 15th of February. The reality is, although they're back to work on sort of first-ish of March, most people will take another week after that to get back to their city of work. Some of these people are travelling 3 days, 4 days to get back home to have this holiday period. So my experience of the last 5 years of dealing with China is the cunts are lawyers and they never get back on the day they say they're going to get back. So we're probably looking at, I've allowed till the middle of March to be comfortably in a position to start working on the next prototypes of the 25mm and the 30mm mod. Now, although that gives us a fair bit of time to Expo, it actually only gives us just over 6 weeks, because Expo's on the fucking first weekend in May. So we've got 6 weeks to sort of prototype, get over to the UK, test, change, and then manufacture the new 25 and the 30mm mod. The one thing that I am going to do in the period of the Chinese New Year is do my damnedest to get the actual, all the 3D design work fully completed in the UK. So as soon as they get back on day one, they can manufacture the prototypes instantly, ship them out to me on a 3-day carriage. I should have them by the end of the first week. We've then got 5 weeks to manufacture, package, send over, inspect, check, and then launch at Expo. So we're looking to launch the 25mm mod, which will be I don't know. I don't even know whether to go with 2700s anymore, to be honest. I don't know.
This is how much of a spill you're getting. Paul's not even decided yet.
No, you know what? I haven't decided. Definitely, it'll take a 2650, and that's only because it's if you're running 18650 and you've got it in a plastic sleeve, it just helps on the safety side of things anyway. So it'll definitely be wide enough to take a 2650. Plus, we stock the 26650 for sale, and it's fucking banging, man. It's a quality sell. 2700, unless I know that 2700As are going to be launched as a mainstream thing, I don't think I'm going to bother with 2700. We don't
agree with that.
First people to do it. I'm happy that we've done that. I'm also happy to drop it unless the 2700A becomes a mainstream battery. Now I know Vapcell or whatever the fuck they're called had 2700A cells. We ordered some. I paid for them. They refunded me and says, "Oh, sorry, we've sold out." Now I asked for 1,000 batteries. We never ever order 1,000 batteries because I can get them so quick. But I asked for 1,000 on the basis that I knew these things were going to be like rocking or shit. The most that they'd sell me is 200. I paid the PI for 200, and a week later she refunded me and said, "Ever so sorry, Miss Paul, we sell our battery." And I was like, "You fucking rat cunt." I was intrigued to see the difference between that cell and the iJoy Inakindu one, the same as the iJoy, the 5-legged 2700. So I don't know. I don't know whether it will take 2700s or 21700s. I haven't decided. The 30mm could be, well, the 30mm will definitely be a 26650. So it'll probably do 26650, 18650, 2650. And obviously they'll both be single and stacked, whereas I've got the Me. We can stack it. We can make a stack 'em for it. I'm reluctant to do it, to be honest. It's not.
I don't want you to do it. I want to keep it just as it is.
I'm saying it can be stacked. Obviously, you can't. You can never stack it with that RDA on because you'd just be mad. Obviously, we've got more caps coming out for this, so there'll be different airflow options on the caps. The button is. I love it. I love the design. We're going to be using this style of button on the new mod, so it's actually sprung at this end of the mod. So the spring for the RDA is up there, so it's switched from up top. It just works well. It's smooth, it's nice, it fires, it's easy to clean. Throws really nice on it.
View looks wicked.
There's really not much.
Yeah, there's hardly anything on that, isn't there?
And it just works really well. Then I'm thinking a sub-ohm tank. I mean, that's pretty good for a single.
Responsive as hell for single coil. Responsive as hell.
I'm thinking an RTA sub-ohm, 22mm, 25mm, 30mm. You know that we're working on the Squonkum, which was an attachment the same as what some other cunt bought out recently. What was the thing that come out recently, Thomas? I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, it's the fuck. It's like Phil something or something like that. Fuck knows.
I can't remember. Someone's bought out this tank attachment that basically you can squonk from. But I've been talking about doing this for 9-10 months, and I spoke to China back in October and said, "Look, I want to bring out an attachment that you can screw onto any mod, tube or box mod, and actually squonk off it." And then my nephew finally got round to doing all the 3D drawings for me over Christmas. And I've had the drawings, and then in the middle of all of that, some fucker released one. I've had a go on one, and it's shit. Now, I don't know whether it's shit because it's the way it is, or shit because it's badly designed. I don't know. So after sort of saying to China, let's leave it, I've actually said to him, you know what, make me a couple of samples, even if I have to pay for them. and let's get it over, and then we can run it through the mill and see whether it works and see if it's worth doing. If it's worth doing, I'll make them, because I can do them in 34 mils. You could actually squonk on the dirty mod if you wanted to. That was what I was thinking. Is actually give someone with a tube a nice way of squonking. We've obviously got the liquid coming out at Expo. Well, we'll have the liquid before Expo, but we'll sort of hard launch it at Expo.
Yeah.
And we've got the wire will be here by Expo.
Just while we talk about the wire, Kev, the wire is currently being offered for wholesale. So if you know anybody that's wanting wholesale for the wire, we have got every wire under the sun covered. Trust me on that one. So if you know anybody that's wanting to get the building stuff in, let me know. I can send you some prices over. So that's already out.
Yeah. So again, with the wire, it's a company that we've been working with for a long time. Probably about 9 months since we first started communicating with them. One of the things we've done along that way is they smelt, they draw, they do everything from scratch with that wire. So they never used to offer N60, Noise 60. We've now got a Noise 60 offering. They've done the fuse Claptons, the Aliens, the 3-core Aliens, the 6-core fucking parallel Claptons, all done by hand now. So they are quality calls. They're coming out of China, but they're made by hand and they're made properly. Properly enough for me to put my name to them. So they're manufacturing this stuff for us. The coils, the plastic coils that hold the wire are being manufactured as we speak. So they'll build them actually molded into the spools. The packaging is being produced at the moment. Then we hit this fucking Chinese New Year again. So we're probably looking at early March before that drops in the UK. But the wire will be available at Expo. The liquid will obviously be available at Expo. The Mies will be available at Expo. Any of the older stock will be available at Expo. And we're hoping to have the 25 and 30 mil available for Expo as well. So there's lots going on, and I sort of feel like I've got my mojo back a bit. I feel like I am where I was at the start of 2016 when we were just months after the launch, and then we started looking at the clean and the cleaner and the dirty, and they all sort of come bang after the next, after the next, after the next. We was in a different place then because the market was different. It sort of sustained my investment in doing that. I'm not so sure at the moment, hence this. And I think this is something that's needed in the market. I think it's something that's different. I believe that more manufacturers will go back to the 22 mil.
I honestly think with that mod it's bringing back with something that's being done in a new style, 100% with that new mod.
Yeah. I
think it's a mod that's done correctly, which should have been done correctly years ago. I think it's going to work well with mouth to lungers. It's going to work well with sub-ohmers. I think it's going to attract a lot of new people to mechs who like that single coil style, that want flavour. Because let's be realistic, we can all sub-ohm. We've already got the clean mod, we've got Empress, we've got Cleaner, we've got the dirt. If you want to sub-ohm massively, you can jump on them mods. We've already got them available. But the 22 mil mod is for that flavour chase, and I think it's going to go really well with people that are wanting rich, deep flavours from a decent setup. And it's still not a fucking £500 squonk.
No. I mean, you know what, mate? You know my thoughts on £500 squonks, and that is if you've got the money to spend it. I've never been the one that says, what sort of knobhead would spend that money on a squonk? On the same reason that I've says, why not spend 25 quid on a clone? That's just always been my doctrine. It's what I've always said. It's what I stand by. I don't give a fuck if people don't like me because we sell clones. I'm not that arsed. I'm not even going. That's maybe that's another 2-hour session on its own right there.
Should we just state something? If you can't put food on your kid's plate or trainers on the feet, don't fucking buy a £500 mod.
That's my only beef with an expensive mod. That'd be my same beef in life. I've got pals, mate, that are driving fucking 40-odd grand cars, live with their mum and dad, and they fucking pop round and see their kids twice a week. I'm like, what the fucking hell is all that about? You know what I mean? I don't get it. I can remember back in the day, my mate had a Y-Reg, so it would have been a 2001, so we're going back 16 years, so I'd have been mid-20s. and he had a 2001 M3 convertible in black that he paid £53,000 for, lived in his mum and dad's council house that they bought for fucking 32 grand. And I was like, what the fucking hell is all that about? But horses for course at the end of the day, mate. If you choose to buy a £600 mod, that's still cheaper than some of the fucking mods Tash has bought. She just told me to go fuck myself, my wife. Yeah, I mean, from my point of view, mate, clone, an expensive, overpriced, 3D printed fucking squonk, whatever it is. If that's what your bag is, knock yourself out. I'm not interested. I've never ever gone down that argument because actually I believe that there's a seat for every single arse. And on that basis, we try and provide as many seats as we can as a business. That's what we've always done. That's what I'll always continue to do.
Handbags and shoes. The juice line's going to be called AF Juice Co, by the way.
Yeah.
I've put that in chat. I think we've covered all bases, mate. We've been on here for an hour and 50 minutes. Time's flied. Absolutely flown. Do I have one more question to ask you before we get off? I'm sure I do. Just going through my spam emails first. Right. The last question is going to be, what do you see for Endless in 2018 and how do you want to end the year of 2018 with Endless? With that caravan that he promised you fucking 6 years ago.
No, she's forgot where she's fucking come from. She just says, I'd like to end with the fucking yacht. Fuck the caravan. I'd like to finish in a position to carry on in 2019 on the basis that the last 3 months of 2017, and you know yourself, Tom, obviously you work for us and sales have been down and mech mod use is different to what it was at the start of 2017. And I genuinely believe as a company we helped revive the tube mod. Absolutely, I believe that. And that's not because I'm blowing smoke up my own arse. When I first invested into Endless, with our money, no pre-orders, the money was spent with China, the designs were done, the money was spent, the product came into the UK before we sold it. I was convinced that we could change the market by offering something that was value for money. And I believe we've done that. I mean, I believe we've done that with every single mod that we've sold. And yes, we've had some issues with some mods. Every contact there has. Deal with the ones that we believe should be dealt with. I'm over sending out free shit to everyone who has a problem with their mod after 12 months. And I know there's people who message me saying, "Oh, all right, mate, I've had this mod off you, and the threads are stripped on my deck." And I'm like, "Say, mate, when did you buy it? What deck is it? Oh, it's the 4-post 24mm. Mate, we ain't even made that deck for fucking 19 months. If it's stripped, right, get yourself a V2S. Just on the basis that in the early days, mate, I was dishing out shit like sweets, thinking, oh, everyone's going to think Endless is shit. I think what I've come to learn is that some people are just heavy-handed bastards, right? And they will break stuff and they will thread stuff. And that's all well and good, but I'm not at my expense. If you've got one of our products that I believe is genuinely faulty and something that shouldn't have happened has happened, I'll replace it gladly. I don't replace stuff from other vendors because they get a margin on the product to sort out the shit and then sort out the shit with me there afterwards. So if you've bought it from someone other than us direct at Expo, then you need to go back to the person you've bought it off. If you've bought it off Shady Vaping, they buy the product off Endless Mods. It's two separate companies. So if you've bought it from us at Expo, that is Endless Mods UK doing that Expo. Message the Endless Mods page. We will sort it out. If you've bought it from Shady Vaping, don't message the Endless Mods page because it's a different company, and all we're going to do is ask you to go back to Shady Vaping. If you've bought it from one of the other resellers, go to them, get the problem sorted out. They'll send the goods back to us. If we believe that it's manufacturer fault, we'll send out the replacement goods. It's as simple as that. If we don't, it's up to the vendor to take it on the chin or argue the toss with me about whether they think it's manufactured or not. Now, we've had an issue with some. I've actually had someone message me tonight with a brass dirty mod where the threads have gone on the stacker. I don't believe we've had any brass ones back at all.
Not one.
As far as I'm aware. So someone's messaged me tonight saying they bought the brass stacker 9 or 10 months ago. It's never ever not been stacked. It's always been stacked. His mate come round and took the stack off and fucked about with it and blah, 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 blah. They've put it back together and the stack's shredded. Now, I've said to him, the stack's normally 75 quid. I'll do you one for 40 quid. Now, he hasn't answered me. I don't know whether I'm supposed to say I'll send you one out for nothing, but it's been together for 11 months or whatever it was. There's clearly nothing wrong with the threads. Now, on the aluminium ones, I think we've had about 9 units back where the threads have gone. I am still convinced that the threads are not going because they're tightening it in the middle too tight. I honestly believe that they're not adjusting the dowel in the switch properly, and when they're holding it at the top and they're screwing the switch on, because the threads in the top cap and the threads in the switch are superior to the ones in the center, actually that's what's causing it to pull apart. Now, in theory, that isn't a manufacturing fault. If you know that switch ain't fucking screwing on, stop screwing the cunt on, take it back off, adjust your dowel and put it back on again. Now, I don't know that's the problem. I've had my black alley dirty since before we launched it. I've still got the prototype one. My threads haven't gone. I'm not using superior products. I'm not using superior materials. I'm just using the stock. In fact, my Empress that I'm using at work is just a random number. I haven't got 001 and 001 and made out of the fucking best materials in the world. I'm using number 36 or something at work on my Empress, on my Neo. Because that's just the one I picked up the day that I went down the shop and took one. So I've never stripped an Endless post personally. I've had issues with my hybrid sticking to the bottom of my RDA, but I've had that with hundreds of different RDAs and different mods. It's not just specific to the Endless. I've had people message me saying, all right, mate, my hybrid stuck to the bottom of my RDA. What are you going to do about it? Fuck all, mate. That's what I'm going to do about it. Take your fucking hybrid off. I don't know what you want. I don't know what you want me to do about it, quite honestly. You know what I mean? Sending a mod back because the hybrid disc is stuck to the deck is fucking crazy, because I've had my own stick on there and I'll get some pliers on it and I'll make sure I use enough force to get it off. Simple as that. But my goals for this year is to still be in a position to be trading in 2019. Really, I've got a good feeling about this year again, even if it's only setting us up for next year. I feel like all the Smock Alien stroke Revenger type people who came into the market on them products will start venturing into a mech tube market over the course of the year, which probably I think we're looking at a boom. Again, we launched the first Endless in 2015, so November 2015. On what was the biggest downturn of tube use ever. We were selling 50 plus regulated devices to one mod in the shop. I still felt it was the right thing to do. And by sort of May, June of that following year, tube use was at the highest it's ever been in the history of our journey with vaping. I think if we can get to the point where we're launching new product in May and October at the 2 expos, I'd imagine by the end of the first quarter of next year, I think we're going to see another boom in tube use. That's how I see the market going. Like Tasha just said, summer tubes are cool to use. They look cool. You can have some cool setups. So all the people that are using Smock Aliens and Revenger kits and Princes and TFB12s and all that other stuff, it's all good to get you doing what you're doing, but get yourself on YouTube. Get yourself, subscribe to the Endless page. Tom's going to start doing a lot more basic videos of standard coiling and basics of Ohm's law. We're not going to be doing 2-hour mathematician videos about Ohm's law and working out resistance, but very basic. This is a basic build. This will give you this much resistance. This is the type of battery you should be using. And if you follow them steps, you're going to be in a very safe zone. Let's get some people back on tubes, man, and and I believe that we've got the ability to change the market again. I really do. Not just us. There's obviously Vapors Cloud are doing their thing. For me, it's only really us and I mean Purge are obviously probably the biggest at the moment. Expensive gear, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I've never owned a Purge actually. Out of all the higher mods I've had, I've never bought a Purge because by the time they'd come out, I was over my days of spending £1,000 on a fucking tube mod or 500 quid on a tube mod. Them days are done for me. And I'm sure if Purge had come out 12 months before, mate, I'd have had a fucking drawer full of them like I did with everything else. But I'm over that. I'm over that period of my life of spending thousands of pounds on tube.
We still stick by Endless being affordable. Best quality product, affordability. Not absolutely killing your pocket so you can't afford fucking burgers, so you're eating beans on toast all fucking month. We actually are affordable. You know, you can get a full setup affordability.
We're looking to get the bear in mind this is a prototype. It's not etched. There's nothing on the switch. There's nothing on the body. There's nothing on the RDA. There's nothing on the underside of the RDA. That is how these will get launched. They're just bare. So they're brass. The black ones will be black chrome. The silver plated will be silver plated brass. The Neos will be Neo chrome. There's no engraving on them. There's no serial numbers. They'll be going out for the brass bearable. I think he's going to be $74.99. And for the other three colour options, he's going to be $79.99. And that's obviously because we pay money to have them plated and coated. Now, for the £5 increase, I'm making next to fuck all on that coating. It is just the difference of it not being coated and being coated. So we're going to be putting that out there for under 80 quid, regardless of what colour you're having it for. There's still a decent margin there for the wholesalers. You ain't getting nothing like that on the market for less than 80 quid. There's people charging $1 for an RDA that's got this ease of build and flavour production on it. Yes, there's China. The Wasp is a fantastic RDA. It's 25 quid or 20 quid or whatever it is. But actually, we've put a brass cap on there. There's not many of these type of RDAs that have even got a brass cap on them anymore. They're all Ultim and plastic.
Yeah.
And I know you were saying to me, we need to do an Ultim cap. And I was like, I'd rather do the Ultim cap as an option for a tenner than palm it off onto the person at the start and reduce the price of the RDA by 2 quid.
Yeah.
And actually, I'd rather put a brass cap on there or a black chrome cap or a neo chrome cap or the silver plated cap. So you've got something nice to start off with. Then if you want to, we'll be doing Ultim, smoked, clear, white and black Delrin. They're the 5 colours that I want to do. And that's because I know this RDA will sell to people that haven't got the mod. It'll just sell on its own right as an RDA, and there's people that are going to want various colour options for their squonker. I'll cater for that. I'll also cater for the people that do want to put like a 0.1 in this and chuck. And the reality is you can still do that. There was only 22mm RDAs back in the day, and we were still blowing fucking massive clouds on them. So
18 millers.
Yeah, we worked out we could have done this as a 20mm mod with an 18650, and I was toying with going 20mm to do something completely different. And in the end, I went with 22mm just because I was a bit scared of doing something completely off the wall at 20mm. And then also the other thing was it would have been exactly the same length. I could have probably took half a mil out of it by making the contact half a mil shorter, maybe a mil at most. But if we can be in a position at the end of this year where we're ready to grab 2019 by the bollocks, I'll be a happy man. We've got through another year and set ourselves up for another year thereafter. So that is what I would like to see by the end of this year, mate.
And Tasha in a yacht.
fucking posh paws over there, man.
Fuck the caravan, where's my yacht? Well, we better sign out. We've been on 2 hours. It's 1 minute past 10. I want to thank everybody who's come in and joined us. It's been an absolute giggle, and it's always nice to hear Paul's backstory. I've heard it a few times, but I think it's amazing from where him and Tash have been to where they are now, which is brilliant. Remember, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, make sure you do. like the video and share it as well. As we and Paul will be announcing probably the next show, probably next week or maybe the week after, but we're going to try and make it a regular thing because it is decent to get talking to you guys and getting some input from you guys as well. So we're going to love you and leave you. And
15 seconds just to say that tonight was about just saying this is what the channel's going to be about. This is what I want to do now. My thoughts for the future is to have guests on the show. I want some good, solid debate on the show. I don't want people going, "Yeah, you dickhead, wait till I see I'm going to fucking knock you out, you prick." I want people who have got difference of opinion that can debate various things, whether you should be using mech, whether it should be a 30mm, a 34mm, I don't know. Things that are maybe semi-controversial without drama. I don't want drama on the channel. I don't want people just watching it, tuning in, just ready for fucking fights and shit like that. But I do want people tuning in just to see what we've got going on, who we've got on. So definitely, I want to go at least once a week. We've got the vape meet at Dudley on Saturday. So for anyone that's watching, get yourself to Shady Vape in Dudley, 31 King Street on Saturday. We'll kick off about 5 p.m. We've got all sorts going on. Cloud comps, women cloud comps, outlaw cloud comps, and we've got an iron lung as well. Mr. From T1 has put together some fucking rancid concoction. If you can do the iron lung challenge, you'll win an endless clean mod. That's how confident I am that Dale's put together something that can't be vape. So the last time I've done this, cost me 8 mods. The last time I've done this, 8 fucking horrible cunts came in and vaped it with a smile on their face. So we've got the meet. I think we'll be back next Wednesday. Want to discuss how the meet went, maybe get some video footage or pictures of the meet and stuff like that. If anyone wants to be on the show, message Tom. It's not just some random going, "Hello, yeah, I've been vaping for 2 years." I want someone who can even message Tom and say, "I'd like to come on and discuss X, Y, or Z." And I haven't got a problem with who comes on, what you're talking about, as long as it's something that we can have a good debate about. Bit of banter. I don't want it to be serious. That says I do want something. I don't want it. I can be on here cunting and fucking and effing and jeffing all night long and having a laugh and a joke. But actually, if we're going to take 2 hours out of your life every week, and that's what I want to do, I'm more than happy for you to give Tom some feedback about what you want on the channel and what you want discussing and the types of people you'd like to see on the show as guests. And we'll hook them up and make it happen. I'm sure between Tom and I, we've got enough clout to get most people on here and have a chat with us. Come to Dudley on Saturday. Me, Tom, Dale. I don't know whether Stu's coming. Tash will be there. The staff will be there. We'll have lots of shit going on.
Old school cakes.
Tasha has ordered old school cakes. We've got chocolate concrete. We've got chocolate hedgehogs. We've got sponge and jam coconut cakes. Some old school cakes. So for the old school vape meet. So come along. We'll kick off about 5. You can get down there anytime after 9 a.m. You're welcome if you're travelling to go down the shop as early as you want, as long as we're open at 9. We're open till late. Come and fill your boots. We're going to have 30% off Endless. I've got 20% off all TYV liquid, and we've got 10% off everything else in the shop. But we've also got some just one-off offers on liquid. So some liquids that used to be 20 quid might be tenors, 12 quids or whatever. That's not a discount. We're going to put some stuff on offer, some clearance stuff, get some stuff out. So it's the first meet I've seen of the year. Everyone who's had a depressing Christmas and have blew their ass and they've been skint, you've all been paid, or you will have been paid by Friday. Come and see us, man. Come and see us and have a laugh. It's not about spending money. I genuinely just wanted a meet for people to be able to come, have a laugh and a joke, blow some clouds, fuck about, meet people. If you don't want to buy nothing, don't buy nothing. It's not a problem at all. You ain't got to come down loaded. Actually, just come down and have a release, man, and enjoy it. And then we'll decide what we're going to do with Dudley as far as regular vape meets as well. So on that note, I'm out of here. Thank you, everybody who's tuned in. I really appreciate it. Tom, thank you as always for your efforts of putting this channel together and doing what you do.
Really enjoyed it.
I have no idea how this shit works.
I think it's going to be a great look for us. It's moving forward. We do definitely want to get everybody involved. You know, that's the whole point. We are very community minded. We don't do giveaways. We don't sit out here till 10 o'clock at night because, you know, we want you guys to be, oh, it's Tom and Paul. You know, we enjoy doing it. We want to talk to you. We want your feedback. You know, we want you to be involved with us as much as anything. So I've enjoyed it. I'm going to carry on enjoying it, and I hope you guys enjoy it. That's the main point.
I'm out. Yeah.
So I love you, and we'll cut off. Night, guys.
Good night.